Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Starr here. I'm just giving you a little introduction to our project that we have for Unit 10, and that is called the Gunpowder Empires Project. We're going to be taking a look at 3 empires who existed in Asia, basically Central Asia, and partially South Asia here. And we're going to take a look at how they interacted with each other here. And they were called the Gunpowder Empires. So if we take a look here, first off, you can see that we have a couple of documents here. We have the actual project assignment for you, and we'll get into some of that here. We also have the resources for this project right there as well. And so we'll talk about the resources here shortly. All right. Looking at our project here, you've got your grading rubric. You also go in, you've got 3 documents down here. The first of which is actually the last one down here we're going to look at, and I want you to download that. That's kind of what the project looks like overall. So now that you've opened up the Gunpowder Empires project overview here, here's kind of what we have. Just kind of a quick run through this, guys. So your job here is to create a product that is basically showing us that you have learned the objectives for the unit. And so when we get into what you're actually going to be doing here, your project is going to be an information collage or a one-pager, but kind of the catch is you need to do a one-pager for each empire, and you need to do a one-pager for the empires, and this is all of them, the empires' relationships and interactions with each other. So total, you're going to be making 4 one-pagers for this project. So if you take a look, it says you will create a project that answers the 3 major objective questions for the unit. You should use your textbook, Chapter 18, to help you research the objectives, and also we have given you a number of online resources that you can use. You can also find your own online resources to help you as well. Okay, so keep in mind, guys, you are going to be working on your own with this one. Obviously, because of our times here, this doesn't work for a group project very well. So you'll be working on your own. You do need to cite your sources. So each one-pager should have probably at least one source on there. And then you should be also looking at no plagiarism. You shouldn't be copying and pasting things and putting them onto your one-pagers. You need to be putting things into your own words. All right, so if you look at the objectives here, we are looking at 3 objectives. Describe the Ottoman Empire and define its relationships and trade with neighboring empires, religions, and ethnic minorities. We have the exact same objective for the next 2 as well. Describe the Safavids and describe the Mughals. All right, so you're going to be doing that through all 3 of them, and then you're going to be defining the relationships that they had with each other. All right, they are all neighbors of each other. The Ottomans were to the west of the Safavids, and the Mughals are to the east of the Safavids. And so they are all basically kind of close neighbors to one another here. And so when you're going to describe them, you're going to do that with this first part right here, objective number 1. You're going to describe the government types, the religion types, what their empire was like as far as a timeline goes, like when did they come into existence, when did they decline, what were some of the major events of that empire, what was their economy like, who did they trade with, what did they trade for, what did they trade each other, and then we're going to look at the culture in general. So this is a very wide variety of things, right? It could be their architecture, their art, their language, their science, their technology, right? We already have religions. That's technically part of culture too. Going back up real quick, you'll notice that when we look at religion, they are all actually going to be one religion, but they're going to be different types of that religion. And that's going to lead to some tensions between those groups, right? People who are Sunni and people who are Shia don't always get along. And that's kind of what we look at here. And then how they dealt with other religious minorities in their empire. So if we come on down here, then we get to part 2, which is defining the relationships and trade with each other. And so if you look, we have basically these 3 empires, and you're going to kind of give us the information here for each of these bullet points. How did they deal with their neighbors? All right, those neighboring empires. Who did they interact with? What did they do when they interacted with them? Meaning, what did they actually come into contact and have actions do with each other? What did they do? So wars, disputes, trade. Were they allies? What did they do with those neighbors? Okay. When it came to religious interaction, what did they do with other religions? They're different branches of Islam. How did they interact with the different branches of Islam here? All right. How did they interact with different religions? Did they go to war with them? Did they have disputes with them? What did they do? And then we have ethnic minority interactions. How did they interact with the minority groups inside their empires? These empires are massive multinational empires. There are different ethnic groups. There are different nationalities of people living inside these empires. How did they deal with them? All right, it's kind of the big one there. And you can see the grading there when we look at it. So it's worth 47 points total. It is a summative project. This goes right into your summative grade. It's like taking an exam. All right. So again, you've got kind of the breakdown for your points right there as well. Okay. So we're going to go back real quick to the gunpowder's overview assignment here. We've got two other things to look at here. First off, we've got the project template. We've also got the research matrix. When you start doing your research, you're going to use this research matrix to kind of organize things. And so here we've got, if you take a look, we've got objective number 1, and you've got the government, religion, empire, economy, and culture. You're going to find all the information you need there and just jot it down into each of those areas. So you've got the Ottomans here, the Safavids here, and the Mughals here. Okay. We've also got this portion of it for objective number 2, and you're going to write down again, answering these questions for each of those major empires. Just write the information right in these little boxes, and then you've got a place down here for sources for each one too. So if you use a specific source for the Ottoman Empire, you'll write their information down here, and so on and so forth. Okay. Finally, the last document we have here is the project template. This is optional. You do not need to use the project template. You can if you want to. If you want to go off and be way more creative and draw things by hand and write things by hand, you can do that. You don't have to use your iPad. You don't have to use it, use the template here. But we are giving you this project template as well. And it includes a template for each of the each of the 4 one-pagers. So this would be like the first one. You just fill in the information on that template right there. You include some pictures there, maybe a map here you can see down here. You have to have your timeline and then an image that represents that major empire. Okay, so this could be like for the Ottomans. Here's another for the Safavids, and then here's one for the Mughal Empire. And then you have one more one-pager to do, and that's right down here. It gives you the information that kind of about their interactions. You do have to include a little picture for each of the empires, but then it also gives you the place to write your answers for how they interacted with each other here. Okay, so again, this template here, guys, is optional. You do not need to use it. All right. Going back real quick, one more time, guys, back to Schoology, you can see that we have also given you a number of resources. We have a whole folder here called Project Resources, and you can see some notes and some assignments here that have the answers already done for you. It talks a little bit about the Ottomans, the Safavids, and the Mughals. And we've given you a number of video clips that you can also use. If you decide to use any of those resources, you're going to go ahead and write that down as one of your sources for each of those different empires on your research chart or research matrix. Okay, so you're going to be going through, guys. You can also find your own resources as well. If you have questions, definitely ask your teacher about them, guys. Find me, find whoever your teacher happens to be, and get some help on this. We are going to be going over it for the next few days, and we'll probably we'll meet each day and we'll kind of talk about what your goal for each of those days is with this project. You should have plenty of time to do this. I don't think you're going to feel rushed, and so we'll kind of lead you through this step by step as we go. All right, so good luck, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure you download your Gunpowder Empires project information, and we'll see you soon.